Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So I'm here to do my July wrap up, and as you saw in a thumbnail, I finished quite a few books in July, and I'm still reading one. It is currently July 30th. No, it's not the last day, but I just don't think I'll be finishing another book in July, so yeah. Let's get started with this rambling session. With the first book I was able to finish in July, which was The King of Crows by Libra. This is the final book in the Diviners series by her. And the first book, The Diviners, is about these kids living in New York, all from different backgrounds, and they all have these abilities. One is able to heal people, one is able to set things on fire, and others able to touch an object and learn the history of the person who previously owned that object. And it's about them coming together to fight this evil called the King of Crows. And with this final book, I did like it through. I felt the last hundreds of pages, the pacing just felt it was suddenly sped up, like almost like a Libra. I have to finish this book. I don't think readers want the 700-page book, just because things started to happen, and this almost felt like it was a faster pace. Like things were sped up, things were happening when previously it doesn't. Things were taking their sweet time and hurrying, if that makes sense. And with this one, we see how certain people. I should know this takes place in the 1920s. They have the ability to control the narrative due to circumstances and their looks, especially with their gender, their skin color, hair, eye color, to have people believe what they want them to believe and take the power away from others to tell the true version of the story, how a white man with blonde hair, blue eyes is able to control the narrative versus a woman or someone who's a person of color or something. And we see how there's different parts of the country, and we see how people, especially the characters, they've either given them hope and want to save them from the King of Crows, to make them wonder if there is a point and if they should allow this country to die. And I did like with the King of Crows, he's using the ugly history of the country against the present of the people, and by consuming all of this history, he wasn't his own person, but he was almost made up of the ghosts of our country's past, and that was something I did like a lot. So yeah, overall I did enjoy this final installment, even if I had issues with those hundreds of pictures, but I still gave it a 4-star read. Now, the next book I was able to finish was All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This is about this black sheriff in this small southern town who has to handle the aftermath of the school shooting, and his deputies, they did kill the shooter, who was this young black man, and it's about this sheriff dealing with the racism in this town, dealing with those who are in positions of power, to wanting him to speed up and ensure that the town has a good look in the aftermath. And it's about learning those we thought we know aren't those we actually know. There's hidden secrets, or there's something about them that we just think they're good people, but they're not. And with this, we see how Titus, the sheriff, has to deal with people in the community who think things should have been done differently as to them. It looks like white policemen shot a black man who was surrendering, and how they have to deal with the case being personal due to knowing the victim. He was this beloved school teacher who even Titus knew when he was in school, and he saw the guy as a good man, and having to admit they're not who people thought. There was something that came out about this teacher through finding evidence and finding the reason this kid shot him, that brought some ugliness to the goodness this person was, or how people saw him as. And we see there's some, I guess, not religious trauma, but Titus has this complicated relationship with religion, as he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't understand how God can allow bad things to happen to people who give him love, and at one point even describing his relationship with God as abusive, as he gave his love to God, and God gave him pain by hurting people who don't deserve it and taking his mother from him. So it's him having to grapple with that. And overall, with everything, I enjoyed this novel. And the next book I finished in July was Saltwater by Katie Hayes. And this is about, in 1992, Sarah Lingate is found dead below the cliffs of Capri, leaving behind her 3-year-old daughter, Helen. Despite suspicions that the family owed money and Gates are involved, Sarah's death is ruled an accident. And every year the family returns to prove that's true. But on the 30th anniversary of Sarah's death, the Lingates arrive at the villa to find a surprise waiting for them. The necklace Sarah was wearing the night she died. Haunted by the specter of that night, the Lingates find their legendary unity pushed to a breaking point. Enlisting the help of family assistant Lorena Morano, Helen plots her escape from her paranoid insular family. But when Lorena disappears, an investigation into Sarah's death is reopened. Helen has to confront the fact that everyone who was on Capri 30 years ago remains a suspect. Her controlling father Richard, her rarely lucid aunt Naomi, her distant uncle Marcus, and their circle of friends, visitors, and staff. Even Lorena, her closest ally, may not be who she seems. As long hidden secrets about the night boil to the surface, one thing becomes clear: not everyone will leave the island alive. And we see the obsession Richard has with appearances in the public eye, and how they want to ensure the story is what they want it to be, and how everything is an act or calculated. And Helen has had these restrictions placed on her to ensure she keeps in line to what they want, and it's her wanting to break free of those restrictions, break free of her family. And we learn their secrets that are in the family, and those secrets come to light, and how the family deals with it. And we just see overall the whole complexities of this family, wanting certain things, wanting other things. It's an interesting tale. And I do have to say, in the UK this is called The Vipers, I believe, and that I think is a more accurate title to this. Because what is it? The Vipers are what? A family of snakes, so but overall I just had fun with this, and I gave it 4 stars. And I should also note, I just remembered that Lorena is also trying to move past some things and keep things hidden. And overall. Now, I'm just gonna talk about these books separate, because I just had different experiences with them. But I did finish the Lord of the Wings trilogy, and considering I think it's one long novel that was split into shorter volumes, I don't know if it makes sense to talk about these books individually or together, but considering they are separate books, I think I actually might do that. So I will start with book 2, which is The Two Towers. And with this one, it did feel almost like I'm reading the middle part of a book. Like we see them continue on their journey in stopping Surem and so on, and how they have to separate to complete different steps or confuse the enemy before reuniting. This felt like what most of this book was, and we see Frodo and Sam get to Sauron's lair. And the only thing I have in my notes is that I did enjoy seeing Sam's devotion to Frodo and how much he cares about him, how he grieves when he thinks Frodo is dead, and how he just wants to continue on and ensure that the mission is completed. So, yeah, I don't know, I gave this 4 stars, I enjoyed it. And then there's The Return of the Kings, which I definitely enjoyed a bit more. I just like the ending bit. And it's people having the courage to fight despite insecurities or being told they can't due to not being properly armed or their gender. We see how one of the hobbits, I think it was Merry, he's told he cannot fight because they haven't made a proper armor for him because of his size, and yet he still wants to fight, he still wants to go. And then you also see with the daughter of a king, not Faramir, what is her name? But she is told she has to stay in the palace to kind of rule in her father's behalf and in her brother's behalf, and yet she dresses up in an armor, just pretends she's a man, and goes off to fight with her family. So, and the ending of Frodo and with Frodo and other hobbits coming back to the Shire, like just expecting this to be done to West and put the end to their adventures, only for a certain someone not to wanting to do that and taking their revenge by going after the Shire, and how they have to deal with that. And yeah, just the ending is a bit heartbreaking. So yeah, 4 stars to that. And I guess July meant that I was in the mood to finish a few series, because I finished that series and I also finished Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Jono Dawson series by reading the last book, which was Human Rights. And with Her Majesty's Royal Coven, it's about this coven of witches who work with the UK government to ensure all witches are kept in line and really to help the government in a sense. And 10 years prior to the start of the series, there was this war with warlocks, and there's still some aftermath with that one. But in the first book, the head priestess, the one in charge, at the head of Her Majesty's Royal Coven, Helena, she learns of this prophecy with this soiled child, and she thinks she found the child. And another one of the witches, an old friend of hers who's not really part of the coven anymore, Naomi, I never learned how to say her name, steps in to help raise the child, and it's about dealing with this prophecy and other things that are unraveled and that the other witches learn the truth about, and changes they go through. And with this one, it's the worries of the characters. We really explore the exploration of their fears and concerns and not knowing what to do and what actions to take and to find answers. And Theo, who was prophesied to be the soiled child, she constantly worries about being a burden due to the prophecy and belief that it is her. And we see the whole thing with the prophecy, how it plays out, and that was satisfying to me. And what I really enjoyed is that it was the connection between the women being strong enough to stop Lucifer, and how people from different backgrounds and groups to stop the end of the world. Because these women, they've been friends for all of their lives, and they're in their 30s, and there's the close bond between them. I just very much enjoyed reading about, because they are the closest of friends. And with the different backgrounds, it's people who there are marginalized groups who come together, and it's really, they won't be able to make any change if the end of the world occurs. So it's about them coming together to ensure that the world keeps spinning, that people are alive. And overall, I just had a lot of fun with this one, and I gave it 5 stars. And now, the last book I was able to finish in July was We Came to Welcome You by Vincent Tardo. And this is about a couple, So and Alice, who move into this gated community, and so she is dealing with issues at work after being accused of plagiarism, and she's been turning to drink, and she is worried that this neighborhood is something odd, because she is getting allergies when she's not being getting them previously. And Alice is also changing as she's going closer to the head of the homeowner association. Yep, a woman named Nandaline, and it's about how the community is so tied together to the association, and how they want So and Alice to sign the agreement. Both of them are reluctant, and there's some odd things occurring in this neighborhood, and so she finds this journal buried in her backyard that from someone who was previously in the house, and things were quite interesting. And with this one, I did find it odd and almost, I guess, claustrophobic, because So would be trying to find her way to the house, and she would think she's getting used to the street, but it's almost like the neighborhood is changing, and the houses in a neighborhood, they look extremely alike. They all have the same characteristics, and none of them are different, outstanding. The people are all so nice, and they're a bit too nice in a passive-aggressive way. And with this one, we see the effect of the neighborhood has on So, making her worry she's losing her mind and seeing things that aren't there. The way Alice, her wife, seems to be more withdrawn from So and becoming part of the neighborhood, and So not feeling allowed, or never will, or no matter what she does, she won't feel like she's a part of the whole thing. She thinks she could have been different, better, even though what happened at work wasn't her fault. It was as well as someone being a bigot, and not liking the fact that someone like her, a black female lesbian, getting published in a certain magazine when they couldn't. It was in how in eyes of society, she and Alice who is Korean, they will just be their gender, race, and sexual orientation, that because of these biases, their hard work will never be good enough. And it was interesting seeing how the whole thing worked, how it was almost like a root system that is so connected that there are risks to being disconnected from it, and that everyone can feel everything with one another, and they have to be wary of conditions. Like, there's this summer festival that occurs, and a lot of them cannot really have a lot of alcohol because the homeowner association she's pregnant, so they just kind of risk that with the baby. And this was just interesting in seeing how So almost becomes a part of it. So I gave it 4 stars. Now, that is everything I was able to finish in July, and I do want to talk a bit about what I plan to read in August. So far, everything I read will be in my August wrap-up, but currently I'm reading Faith Breaker by Hannah Connor, and so far I'm about 200 pages, and I don't see myself finishing this by tomorrow on July 31st. So it will be my August wrap up. But this is the third and final book in the God Killer trilogy, and this is what I meant by I was in the mood to finish series. And with God Killer, we follow this woman named Kissin, and she kills gods, and she's allowed to kill gods because the king. There was a god war where the gods kind of tried to take over. The king had to put them down, and yeah, since then gods have been outlawed. Believing in gods, making shrines for them has been outlawed. In Kissin, she's pretty good at her job until she meets a god she cannot kill, and that's because this god is connected to this young girl who comes from a noble family whose house was burned down on orders of the king again. They go to the journey to find a god who can try and help break this connection, and yeah, that's book one. Things get more, I guess, political in the second book, and in the third book we do follow a war. And so far I'm very much enjoying it. And the book I plan to read after that is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. And this, what is this about? Because there's no blurb on this one. Yeah, I'm just very much intrigued about this one, and yeah. So that is everything I read in July and everything I plan to read in August so far. Again, everything else I read in August will be in my August wrap up. So yeah, that's it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below telling me what you've been reading recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. And if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video.